Hello, Sonder fam. Welcome to this Wednesday evening, afternoon, depending on where you're at, Journal Prompt Social. For those of you I have not had the pleasure of hosting in front of before, my name is Bailey Grady, and I am dialing in from Hendersonville, Tennessee, which is just north of the Nashville area. If you're a Taylor Swift fan, you may be aware of it because she likes to claim this as her hometown sometimes. I live about 5 minutes from Gallatin Road. So there's your fun fact for the day about me. Um, if this is your first time, welcome. I know Joanna said it was her first time. So if it's your first time, you are not alone. We have another newer person here, but if you are, feel free to let us know in the chat so that we can all give you a big warm welcome and hello and welcome back to all of our returning socialers. It's always good to see you all here. This is truly, as most of you know, the best community. So if you are new, welcome. You have definitely stumbled into something that I think is going to bring a lot of life and support into your life. A lot of light and support into your life. There we go. Words got mixed up there. So as we go through tonight, as always, feel free to take screenshots and also snap photos of what you're doing in your journal when we come to the end of our time together, which is always really sad, but happens faster than we expect. We'd love if you feel comfortable sharing those things on Sonder Club so that way we can all kind of see what each other's working on and how it all turns out because we have our own unique spins. If you haven't already, make sure that the little blue box above where you type is set to everyone. A lot of the times Zoom will default it to host and panelist. And if it's set to host and panelist, everybody in the group will not be able to see what you're sharing. And being in the chat is the way that you communicate. You probably already know, like you can't turn your camera on. You don't have to worry about whether or not you're muted or unmuted. So the chat is how you communicate. If you need to send a note to just Katie and myself, who is my amazing co-facilitator tonight, you can use that host and panelist to just message us if you need to. But if you want to share with the group, which is probably why you're here, you definitely want to make sure that that is set to everyone. So we'll go through our community guidelines per usual. As always, be kind and courteous to yourself and to others. No promotion or spam, please. We respect everyone's privacy here. And of course, we do not allow any hate speech or bullying. If you would limit any like repetitive product and accessory questions, we don't mind a little bit of chatter around stuff, but you know, the time goes by so quick. And then if there's anything that myself or Katie can't assist with, questions about your subscription, your journal's not in yet, anything like that, we'll redirect you over to the amazing team at headquarters by sending you to hello@silkandsonder.com, and they should be able to help you with anything that we can't. And then finally, Sonder Socials are a tool to help elevate your emotional health through the power of community. That's all of you. But you are responsible for your own emotions, well-being, and decisions. And what that means in a nutshell is sometimes we get into the nitty-gritty here together, right? And as we're doing journal prompts and things, some unexpected emotions bubble up. If those emotions are things you're ready to sit with, we are ready to support you. But if they're things you're not ready to sit with yet, and you need to step out, you need to take a break, you need to come back to this later because this is recorded and we will share the recording at the end so you can always come back to it later. That's okay too. It's okay to take a break. It's okay to need to come late, leave halfway through, do something else until we move on. Whatever you need from this time is what we want you to do and take for yourself. So tonight we will do an opening activity. And then we're going to take a look at the My Flow State prompts on page 15, and then we'll close out with our gratitude log together. So it is officially June 3rd, which means we are 3 days into a brand new month and we have a brand new theme. And that theme is flow. And there's a couple different definitions of flow out there, but I really liked these two quotes around it for me personally. My interpretation says flow is being completely involved in an activity for its own sake. The ego falls away, time flies, every action, movement, and thought follows follows. Apparently, I can't speak today, guys. Inevitably from the previous one, like playing jazz. And then I really like this one from Jay-Z that says, don't go with the flow, be the flow. Because I think sometimes when we have a theme like flow, it could be related to like, oh, the flow of life and just go with the flow and that sort of thing. And I think that there's definitely times and places for that, being in tune with the flow of your body, your energy, your needs. But there's also times where it's important to not go with the flow and to say, hey, that's not right for me. And if you want to keep flowing that way, that's cool, but I'm going to flow this way. So I really like that. Don't go with the flow, be the flow, saying, like, yes, you want to enter the state of flow. You want to be in tune with yourself and be in that kind of mindset where everything just feels like you're lost in the moment and you're enjoying life, but make sure that it's your flow and not anybody else's. Now, if like me, you have anxiety, hi, it's me, I have anxiety. Thinking about flow can probably sound a lot like, oh, is this like when I meditate, like I'm supposed to kind of like turn my mind off and all of this stuff? And so I found this graphic really helpful for me personally, to kind of distinguish the difference between mindfulness and flow state. So, like, your focus with mindfulness is intentional focus on the present moment, versus with flow, it's intense focus on a specific task or activity. Effort with mindfulness is deliberate control of attention and awareness. In flow, it feels automatic, effortless, and instinctive. Also, in flow, your awareness is supposed to be low, complete loss of self awareness, like you're just totally lost in the sauce of what you're doing, right? Performing your goal is to perform a task with high skill and engagement. Your experience is absorbing, immersive, and awesome, and often exhilarating. And the outcome is high productivity, satisfaction, and enjoyment. I think it also could be high productivity, satisfaction, or enjoyment. I don't think it necessarily has to be all of those things together. So I found that to kind of be helpful because a lot of the definitions I was seeing about flow felt like calm and felt like, being present and that sort of thing. And I think it just is distinctively different from mindfulness. So I found this graphic really helpful and wanted to share it with you all. So we're now going to get into our opening activity, which means you will need to find a blank space in your journal. I used a whole page for this. This is definitely an activity, though, that you could use like half of a page, a corner of a page. Like, it doesn't have to take up a whole page. I used one because I don't trust myself to stay in the lines, and you'll see what I mean. But you definitely don't have to take up a whole page with this. So what we're going to ask you to do is place your pen anywhere on your paper, and then just for 3 seconds, we're going to ask you to close your eyes. I'll do it with you. That's 3 seconds-ish, right? And then we're going to take a deep breath and make a promise to yourself that for the next few minutes, your pen will not leave the page and you're not going to look at what you're drawing with judgment. Don't plan, just start moving your pen. You're going to draw loops or swirls, jagged lightning bolts, or other zigzags, tight spirals, circles, dots, whatever feels right. You want to move fast enough that your inner critic doesn't have time to speak, but slow enough to feel the texture of the pen on the paper. Do not lift the pen. If you feel stuck, just draw a circle over and over again until a new shape wants to come out. Now, I'll come back to this, but I'm going to go through this next part, and then I'm going to also show you how mine turned out. So, after a few minutes, you're finally going to lift your pen. And when you do, you're going to take a moment to look at the beautiful tangled web of ink you just created. And inside the overlapping loops, you've created little closed shapes. And we're going to ask you to pick 3 of those spaces and write 1 word inside each space answering these questions. What is one activity in your life that makes you completely lose track of time? What is the biggest distraction that breaks your focus? And what is one small thing you can do this week to invite more effortless focus into your day? Now, this is how mine turned out, and now you can see why I said I didn't trust myself to stay into the lines. Because if you're just supposed to be doing this continuous flow of movement, like, I didn't want to be boxed in by anything. The other thing that I will recommend to you, if you are somebody that has trouble letting go when it comes to doodles and things, don't look at it. I didn't look at this. I literally put my pen on the paper and I looked straight ahead and just moved it around for a few minutes. So the prompt says that you can look at it, you can like, you're just not supposed to lift your pen up, right, and just continuously doodle. But if you're somebody that needs to not look at it so that you end up with something crazy, just don't look at it. Just put the pen on there. I'm gonna put some music on and just swirl around nice and slow, and then you'll be able to look at it when you're done, right? And you can see what the prompt's talking about of I've got all of these different little cavities in here now of spaces. So I picked 3 spaces to answer those prompts. But then I thought it would be fun to start coloring in some of these other spaces. So I think that throughout the month, in addition to the coloring page that I have, this can also be a really great little doodle page when I'm, listening to a recording or if I'm in a meeting. Like I do better and I absorb information better if I'm also doing something with my hands. So this has now become another little activity page for myself, and yours may turn into that for you as well. Just depends on how your doodle turns out. So I'm gonna hop back and forth between all of these slides for you. Definitely let us know in the chat what's coming up for you once we get to the prompts, how you're answering those prompts. I'll probably put the song on, check in with you guys for a minute on the prompts, and then do another one, and then we'll move on together. So have fun with your doodling. Okay, go ahead and lift that pen. And then again, for the second part here, what we're going to be looking to do is to find some of those little crevices or a little corner or a little pocket where the lines have overlapped, where you can answer these 3 prompts. So again, what is one activity in your life that makes you completely lose track of time? What is the biggest distraction that breaks your focus? And what is one small thing you can do this week to invite more effortless focus into your day? So for me, being by the water, I always look track of time if I'm in and by the water. It could be a creek, it could be the ocean, it could be a pool, doesn't matter. Um, my phone is definitely my biggest distraction. I see that Nikki has already said that hers is the same. And then the thing I could do this week to help with that is to put my phone on the charger as soon as I get home. So maybe I will try doing that because my charger is in my bedroom, so then it's kind of like away from me. So I'm going to put on some music again for you to think about how you would like to answer these questions, and then we'll move into our next activity together. All right, so your page should now look something like this. Obviously, it will look very different and unique to whatever you came up with. I saw lots of you were saying like, oh, my lines are so crazy and overlapped, like I don't really think that there's room for me to like scribble stuff in there. That's okay. Just like, take a little like line and then write your answer around the corner of the page and just like point it in there. Right? Like it's a legend. Like this here is to answer this question, or you could just answer around the page in general. But if like me, you feel like this could be a good activity for you to continue throughout the month by doodling in these little spaces, definitely feel free to join me in that. If I actually get it done, I'll try to post it in Sonder Club at the end of the month so you guys can see how it turned out. So we are now going to hop over to page 15 so that we can get into the My Flow State prompts. Now, we're going to take these prompts like two at a time. And the reason that we're going to do two at a time is because when I filled out this page, for some reason, I could not start with the first prompt. Like it just didn't resonate for me versus my answers for the other ones came really quickly. So I feel like if we do two at a time, whichever one you want to tackle first, whichever one comes up more easy for you, answer that one. And then maybe try the other one because I feel like once you answer one, it will flow a little bit easier. So our first two prompts here are imagine waking up, well, not our first two prompts. I guess this is like one big prompt and then many questions, right? So our one big prompt is imagine waking up in a day where everything feels aligned, your energy is steady, your intentions are clear, and every action feels like it's unfolding with ease. You are in flow. And our first little prompt here says, what does your morning look like? So for me, when I was able to finally answer this, I said, I wake up and I have time to enjoy a slow hour or two. There's no rushing. I move with calm certainty that I'm exactly where I'm meant to be at all times. Some things to ask yourself as you look at this prompt. Think about mornings where you felt most connected to yourself. What were you doing? Where were you? Were you alone? What made it different than other mornings? Can some of those elements be incorporated into a morning full of flow? And then our second question here is, how do you move through your responsibilities, relationships, and rest? So my answer was, I move with balance, allowing time for each evenly and shifting between activities with optimism and ease. Some things to think about here are, think about flow as movement rather than productivity, and consider those three words: responsibilities, relationships, and rest. How do you move physically, emotionally, mentally? What do you think it looks like? So I'll hop between these two prompts. Definitely share with us what's coming up for you as you are writing these in, if you feel comfortable sharing. And then I'll come back and we'll move into our next couple of prompts together. All right. We are now going to move into our next two questions here. The first one is, what are you creating, expressing, or experiencing? I'm creating opportunities for the people I love to gather and share in joy and learning with one another. I'm expressing love freely and experiencing joy alongside new things. Some things to consider for this prompt are, what activities are giving you that flow mindset and experience? Are you creating something? Is it something physical, artistic, something to be shared? Maybe you're creating and holding space. And what energy is flowing through you and how are you expressing that? Our next prompt is, what distractions or obstacles don't show up for you? So I said, I don't get lost in my phone. I don't delay tasks, projects, and things I truly want to do. I don't allow any assumptions of how things could go to color my decisions or energy and focus on the now. Some things to consider with this prompt are, what obstacles or distractions usually crop up for you? In this exercise, you get to politely ask them to come back later. And what things, people, expectations, obligations, or limitations would you close the door on for optimal flow? It's just one day, right? Like even in this made up, you know, dream scenario that we have, it's just one day. So like you love your friends dearly, you love your family dearly, you love your pets dearly, but if in order to be in this flow state, you needed one day away from them in a hotel room or whatever that magical sauce is, this is a moment where you get to imagine that. So again, I will go back through these and I will put on some music so you all can think about how you'd like to answer these prompts. If you would like to share, we would love to see what you want to share with us. All right. And now we have, how do you feel throughout the day, emotionally, physically, and mentally? For me, I don't feel rushed. I feel happy. I'm present and full of gratitude for each moment. And at the end, I am fulfilled and feel accomplished. For this one, think about beginning in the morning, the way you move with flow throughout the day, what you've created without resistance. How would it feel? What emotions might surface? How would they reflect in your body? Do you think your mind would feel busy, cluttered, calm, rested? And this is our last prompt on this page. So I will give you a few moments to consider how to answer this one, and then we'll get to move into our last activity together. Great job, you all. You have just reached the end of that page. So if nothing else, you've been in flow together with us tonight and you were able to complete this. So awesome job. We are now going to flip over to page 13, which is our gratitude log. Now, you can certainly just do this once a day as a part of gratitude and just write down one thing you're thankful for. But I do have some examples of how you might do this a little bit differently this month. So hang in there with me. First, though, I think it's always great to talk about why there's always like a gratitude log or a gratitude jar or something like this in your journal each month. And it's because gratitude is seriously like this magical thing that we all have the ability to practice and do, and it does so much for us. I was listening to like a health webinar the other day, and they were actually talking about how as humans, we have like a natural negativity bias, which just means that we're hardwired to see like the bad in situations. It's how we like learn to protect ourselves over time. And so that's why gratitude is a practice, because we're actually kind of practicing to rewire our brain to see the good in things and appreciate those things rather than that sort of like base instinct that we have. And when you practice gratitude, not only can it increase happiness by 25%, which like probably isn't that surprising, right? If you're focusing on the good things instead of the bad things, hopefully it helps to bring some happiness. But it also improves health because it's been shown to lower blood pressure, Heart rates are usually better when you're practicing gratitude, and they even have some data that points to stronger immune systems and less aches and pains. Obviously, that's going to be very subjective to what causes your aches and pains and also what lowers your immune system, but it's pretty cool that it has such a powerful effect. People that practice gratitude get better sleep, which is why a lot of people like to do their gratitude at the end of the night, right before they go to bed. It helps us socially because you're generally more generous and compassionate. Again, like if you're training your brain to try to see the good in things, then you're also learning to recognize the good alongside the bad. And so even when you see somebody make a mistake or maybe they have a bad day and maybe they're not themselves, you get to practice kind of giving them grace in that moment because you kind of have to learn to practice grace to see gratitude on a day where you've had a terrible day, right? And you kind of can start to make the human connection of like, well, if I had a terrible day once, then somebody else probably could also have a terrible day, right? It can also boost productivity in the workplace, or if you're no longer in the workplace and whatever your typical goals and habits are rooted in, right? We just did a whole exercise about ideal flow state. Maybe part of that ideal flow state is starting your day with gratitude. And then grateful people are typically more resilient to stress. So all of these are wonderful, wonderful things. Now, when you're filling in your gratitude log, if you're just going to do a line a day every day, that's an amazing practice. It's a great place to start. If this is the first time you thought about doing it on a regular basis, don't overcomplicate it. You can literally show gratitude for all of these different things. There's some great categories there on the left, but sometimes it's best to just keep it simple. Like you can be grateful for the weather, whether it's the sun or the rain or the fact that, right now the days are longer. So you can be grateful kind of for the seasons. You can be grateful for your basic needs, that it's a new day, for small comforts, your pets, things you can see, things you can hear, things you smell, things you feel, things you can taste, right? You can also use a theme. So thinking about our theme of flow, what activities put you in a state of flow? And then can you create gratitude from that? Like, oh, I really enjoy knitting. That puts me in a state of flow. Okay, I'm really grateful that I was able to take that up as a hobby. I'm really grateful that I have a knitting community, right? See how it kind of like builds from that. Again, thinking about senses and bringing your focus to a specific point. So if you are thinking about things that you hear, okay, I'm hearing noise in my home, like, pets are running around being crazy, making a mess, but like I'm grateful I have a home and that they have a home and that me having a home gives them a home, right? That's something to be grateful for. Um, you can think about lessons that you're learning. You can also think about songs that encourage flow for you, and you could actually turn this into like a flow playlist. I know some of you were talking about music earlier, and I know for me, very specific playlists like definitely help me be in the flow to work on projects and things and focus. So I definitely have some playlists that I've never thought about as like flow playlists, but they absolutely are. So you could write down one song every day that you feel like gives you that state of flow and kind of express gratitude for knowing that song, the artist that created it, all that work that went into it, right? And then you can also think about what routines help your flow state. Again, like, oh, okay, so waking up in the morning and practicing gratitude helps my flow state. So then I'm grateful to have access to my journal to make that an easy process for me. Or I really enjoy being able to sit and drink my cup of coffee and just be still for 10 minutes. Like, be grateful for the coffee, be grateful for that moment, right? You can kind of tie gratitude into anything if you practice it enough. The Silk and Sonder Instagram page, we've talked about before, they put some really cool content and things out there. One of the things that they've put out there is this 30 days of flow. So again, if you wanted to repurpose this page, maybe you do gratitude differently, you could definitely do the 30 days of flow in this space. And don't panic, I'll go back through all of these slides for you in a second. So that's a nice repurpose. And then here are some examples of just some gratitude pages. So obviously filled in gratitude there on the right-hand side, but also if you're not a words person, if you're a sticker person, if stickers make you happy and stickering a whole page is going to let you express gratitude for color and joy and having your stickers and getting to be creative and being in that flow state, then there's nothing wrong with stickering over this page. Another thing you can do is give yourself some specific prompts to answer, rather than just writing whatever comes up for you in that moment in that day. And this is the thing that if you haven't done it before, it might be cool to do this month, because it's only the 3rd. And so we're just getting started here. So if you wanted to actually like plan out some prompts, this could be the month to try it. That's actually what I'm doing with mine. And I actually used the expense tracker, which is just to the left of the gratitude log, or sorry, not the expense tracker, the sleep tracker. It's just to the left of the gratitude log. I repurposed that to hold these specific prompts, and then I'm writing my answer to the prompt over on the gratitude log. I don't usually use the sleep tracker. I usually do repurpose it to something. So this month it's getting repurposed to those questions. I worked with the personalized coach to come up with questions that are aligned to my goals. And then I also asked her to think about the theme of flow as well. And then based on what she gave me, I took some of them, I made some changes. It gave me some inspiration of things that were similar but different. And so that's how I came up with my questions. So like the question that I answered today was, what's a recent accomplishment, big or small, that you're happy you did? And I said, I followed my gut and made several doctor's appointments this year. I hate making appointments. I really, really hate it. I don't know why. I don't mind going. I just hate making them. But I said at the beginning of this year I was going to do it, and I'm really glad that I did. I've ended up with some really great care and new plans, and it's been really worth it. So I'm glad that I did that. So I will now go back through all of these different ideas for you. I'll go back through these slides initially too, because I know some of you are wanting to grab pictures. And I'll put on some music for you all to have fun. Let us know what you're deciding to do and how you're setting up this page. Even if you're just going to fill it in one at a time, that's cool too. Just hang out with us, enjoy the music, share in the chat. Let us know one thing you're grateful for. All right. Thank you everyone for cheer dancing, finger dancing, hollering out lyrics in the chat, and hopefully getting some ideas for your gratitude log. One other tip I'll add is that one of my monthly habits every month is always gratitude. And it makes it to like an easy thing to do, first of all. And second of all, it's a great daily practice. So good thing to think about for next month if you don't already do that. Thank you all so much for being here tonight. As I said at the beginning of the social, we would love to see your pages in Sonder Club, how they turned out, especially that crazy little doodle that we all did together at the very beginning. I know those are going to be super duper unique and different. Um, Meha is going to be hosting this mid-year reset. It's on June 16th at 5 p.m. PST and 8 p.m. EST. So if you're in Central Time like me, that means 7 p.m. That means 7 p.m. your time. Katie's grabbing the link for that as well, and we'll throw it in the chat if you would like to join that. I think they did this last year, I'm pretty sure, and I remember seeing a lot of really positive feedback, and people said it was really helpful, and that, of course, Meha is always so amazing and inspiring. So, anytime you can do any kind of event with her, it's a great opportunity. So, definitely mark your calendars for that if you're available. If you're not available at the date and time too, I think if you register, you should be able to like get the recording after and stuff. They are also launching this. Katie and I literally just found out about this today, so it is brand new information, exciting and news. But they are launching what they're calling a Clarity Challenge, and it's going to launch on June 16th, but you can go ahead and sign up for it now. And the idea is that it's a 7-day challenge to help you go from chaos to clarity, and they're going to send you something, or well, not they, Meha is going to send you something to your inbox every morning with one-shot focused kind of prompts to hopefully move you into a genuine state of flow. It is a paid challenge to drive personal accountability, but because it's centered around personal accountability, you can literally join for as little as $5. There's more information on the website, including FAQs and stuff, in the link that Katie just dropped in the chat. So be sure to check that out. If you're not aware, they are still doing this Try Sonder Coach for free and share your feedback. Katie will throw this in the chat as well, but I mentioned earlier that I used my coach to help me come up with my gratitude prompts. So that's just one example of how the personalized coaching can kind of flow and be a good companion with your journal. And then lastly, these are all my playlists. I will share the direct links in the chat as they close out. But if you've done socials with me before, you know that I don't have like specific playlists or specific songs. I just have these massive, massive playlists now that I just kind of like reference and pull things out of, and it's nice and chaotic and it's a good time. So I will share those as we close out. But I enjoyed spending this time together with all of you today, and I hope you enjoyed your time here as well. And until next time, be good to each other, and we'll see you all in Sonder Club.